Hi everyone, welcome back to Successin12. My name's Robert Andrews, and if you've been following my blog for quite some time, you probably already know that I've been doing this for roughly about 60 days almost. Since day one, I've been struggling with the idea of how to get myself out of this emotional pit that I was in. And I'm still kind of in there. I'm not 100% there, but I'm still in there trying to pull myself out. And the reason, even though I might be behaving and acting as if I'm already out of that emotional pit, the conditioning is still there. So what I've got to do is repeat behavior until that becomes unconscious behavior. And that's achieved in several different ways. And what I'm doing is every time that negative associations or negative unconscious thoughts come in, what I do is I break the pattern with, some random action. It might be like, wah, or it could be like, just a simple hand clap, just something random, and then replace it with something else. So that's what I'm doing. I'm replacing behavior with the kind of behavior that I want. So it's been a while since I've actually had to talk to anyone else as a coach, as a salesperson, as anything. But obviously, practice makes perfect. And I got really good at talking to people because that was part of my job. Now I don't do it as much, so I need to get back into practice and actually need to get more confident in expressing myself clearly and concisely. I want to express the fact that I am not a perfect person. I don't want to create this illusion that I've never ever done anything wrong, or I've always been this Boy Scout. I mean, there were times in my life where I've been I've done really good things, but I've also made a bucket load of mistakes. I've done some silly things, I've done some stupid things, but I don't want to come across like I'm, lie to you with the idea that I'm perfect. What I do want to put out there is that I'm just like you. I've made mistakes. I'm a regular person. I want to bring you back to when I first started Successin12. Actually, no, not even back to when I first started that, but right back to day one. I started this by deciding that I was going to try to do something. I was gonna try to move out of where I was. Now, I had a lot of strategies and a lot of ideas, but what actually happened to me was a lot of my belief systems and a lot of things that would naturally protect me and save me and prevent me from being in that place was ripped away from me. I mean, I ripped it away from myself, but basically I allowed someone to change my behavior patterns and change my beliefs. And you've got to be giving someone the permission to do that for that to actually happen. So I take 110% responsibility for that. Getting back to day one, I sat in a chair, all dressed up, ready to, really try to make things change, and, nothing happened. I sat down with a pen, I opened the book, and I tried to write down some goals, but what happened was, I felt defeated. I felt like everything that I'd ever tried, just didn't work anymore. I knew a lot of strategies, a lot of ways of helping people, but I actually somehow started to believe that I couldn't make my life better. And just so that if you're in that same place, I know how you feel, to some degree. Maybe not exactly, but I know that feeling of helplessness. I know what it's like to feel like, that's not going to work, this is not going to work. And I understand where you're coming from, because I treated everything like that. Especially during that first day. I knew what I needed to do, but I didn't believe in it anymore. And I remember explaining to someone about this, the importance of belief. Another thing I'd like to touch on is, during this whole process, you're going to see me fail. You're going to see me suffer. I'm probably going to look stupid. I probably already have looked stupid. And there's a point to that. And I'm exposing myself deliberately so that you can see the entirety of what I'm going through, and really get an understanding that, just because you're taking a couple of steps back in your journey, that's not the end of it. That's not the end. Like, there's still time to go. There's still an opportunity to go from where you are, to move forward, even just one step. So don't get locked into that position or that feeling that, you're stuck, because it's not true. Just because you have like one failure or maybe 10 failures, I really want to demonstrate this to you, like, not deliberately, but I want to show you, like, my journey, so that you understand that it's not all smooth sailing. Whatever happens to us, we're going to achieve, and we're going to fail. Failure is normal. Failure is something that you should be able to embrace. And if we're too afraid to fail, too often we're too afraid to even try. And so I want to take you away from being too afraid to try and achieve what you want. Too many of us are so afraid of, like, looking bad in front of all our peers. Before I started this journey, before I started posting blogs, I had to really sort of overcome that feeling, And the only way I could overcome that was realizing that I'm doing it for more than just myself. I'm doing it for others. So the way I overcome all that sort of judgment and all that negativity is the fact that I'm doing it for you. If I make a change in just one person, if I just make a change in you and help you achieve, your goals, or just even if I just inspire you to sort of like go, well, all this negativity that's stopping me from chasing my dreams it's irrelevant. Like, life is finite. Like, you only got so much life. So if I really wake that up within you, then it can help you move on from where you are. And I really want to do that for you. Whatever stage I was at, or whatever job I was at, I'd always take the time to coach people, and I loved coaching people. I really enjoyed watching them go from a difficult or a bad place, to where they wanted to be, and to really enjoy what they were doing. And I found that really easy to do a lot of the times. And it actually started when I was a child. I had no other choice but to deal with people who were like always suffering and going through something negative. And what I found out is by helping them, I actually made my life better. And it was also sometimes people that I really loved and cared about. So by helping them, I felt like I was giving to someone who I really loved and really cared about, and I made a difference to their life. So with coaching, I have a deep emotional connection with doing it. When I watch someone really achieve, like sometimes I'm crying at the end of the day, because the emotion just wells up inside, and it's like I can remember calling my girlfriend about someone I had coached, and I'd watched this person go, from doing absolutely horrible at their job and was on the verge of being fired, and I helped them do a 180 and really helped them. Actually, they end up achieving higher results than anyone else for that day, and then they repeated the result the second day, which is something that no one possibly imagined they could do, and that was inspiring. I really, from that situation, I really felt that this is what I'm meant to do. But I had to shunt that a little bit, and to explain why I did that was because well, we have to make money. I didn't have the luxury to be able to put everything aside and just do this, like work on helping people. You know, I was always struggling financially. I was always in a difficult financial place. Or, you know, whatever excuse I was giving myself. And finally, in this position where, you know, I was in such a low, I also thought to myself, how can I turn this like really negative situation into a positive one? How can I turn this around? And I worked it out, and I made it about you. And that's why I'm here with you. So I have a lot of reasons for why I'm doing this. And I have probably a lot of people who are laughing at me for doing this, but this is my passion. My yearbook quote was, "Come sit on my couch and tell me your problems." That was my yearbook quote for 1998. That's a long time ago. And you know, some negative things happened to me along the way to becoming a psychologist. And one of those things was, you know, I didn't have good enough grades to be able to go straight into university. So I enrolled into mental health care because I thought it would give me an insight into the industry and give me an inside understanding of the people who are helping the patients I would have had sessions with, and understand what they were going through and like what the patients were going through. And that way I could then move on to university, become a psychologist, but also have this backup knowledge and experience of like really understanding what people are going through. The teacher for mental health care actually got us all to stand up and explain why we wanted to be here. So when it came to my turn, I explained that I wanted to become a mental health care worker because I wanted to become a psychologist. And this teacher basically told me that, and everyone else in the class, told us that, you know, psychologists are the worst people in the world. You know, they're horrible, they don't care about patients, you know, they do stupid things, they really don't care. And she explained to us like situations where she felt like she had helped a patient, you know, move all the way up emotionally, and then the psychologist just destroy these people. Well, that was the impression that she was giving us. But the main thing I got from that is there are mental health care workers out there who had a lot of negative associations to psychologists. And to me, that felt like if the people who were supposed to be there helping us help these people didn't believe in what we were doing, then they were probably obstructing the person's ability to get better. To me, that made me feel, well, what's the point of becoming a psychologist? So I didn't want anything to do with this by the end of it. I was like, maybe mental health care and psychology just isn't the way for me. What I'd do is, like, I'd go back to restauranting, and I'd train staff, I'd coach and mentor staff, and you know, I'd move up to management positions where I was responsible with directing staff. And so, I mean, that gave me a little bit of fulfillment. That filled the gap a little bit for me that psychology had left. But there was always a little bit of a hole that was never filled. And this is the whole point. This is my chance to now come back to this. I might not want to be a psychologist anymore, but I really want to help people. And being a life coach is something that I am passionate about. So I've given you a little bit about my history. Hopefully it's enough. If you're going to take anything away from this, I hope that it's the fact that my journey is something that I'm giving to you to learn from. An opportunity to be able to really feel like anything's possible. And I'm going to come up with some goals that probably seem impossible. And maybe some of you out there might go, wow, that's easy. But if you're in a difficult place, some of these goals that I'll be putting forward are just, you know, absurd for anyone in a negative place. I know what it's like to look at those kind of dreams like from that place. So to me, it was they were absurd. So I mean, hopefully I can inspire you, even if I don't reach these goals and I kind of get there. I mean, that's still something. But what I want to do is deliver on actually achieving those goals. I don't want to kind of get there. I want to achieve these goals. But by following my journey, you'll be able to understand the strategies that I'm using, because I'll repetitively use them. I mean, some of the strategies I'll use will just be repeated over and over again. You'll probably get sick of me saying it, but the thing is like, repetition is the mother of skill. So, you know, repeating these yourself is going to make it automatic, and that's what I have to do, is I have to repeat these same skills until they're automatic. And even once they're automatic, I'm still going to use them, because that's what helps you gain success, is a lot of these strategies and skills that I'll be revealing to you over the next 10 months that are left. A bit over 10 months. I better explain why I haven't presented them to you yet. And this is very interesting. I hadn't developed myself to the point where I was comfortable to share those goals. And the reason why I hadn't developed to that level is well, I couldn't imagine and visualize myself sharing those goals with you and being able to achieve them. Now, what I mean by that is like, if I copped negativity for the goals that I had, then that negativity would actually prevent me from achieving those goals. I would probably take it on board emotionally. I'd be a little bit hurt. But now that I'm in such a position that emotionally, that it doesn't matter if you don't like my goals. Putting my goals out there is more about showing you that you can go from where you are to where you want to be. Wow, I've said that like a million times, but that's the whole point of this, is so you can join my journey and make it more possible for yourself. You know, really make it real for you, to sort of go, wow, I can do that for myself too. And that's what I want to do. And if you know anyone who could benefit from actually following me on my journey, you know, show them my blog, show them my video, and whatever else. And that's what I'm also putting out there, is if you want to come join me on my 12-month journey, you know, help me achieve those goals, what we can do is we can talk about it, and we can see what we can do for each other in regards to helping each other out. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos and to spend time looking at my blogs, helping my journey to success.